and the response has been amazing, to the point that people are printing their. So we recently started a network effect where we allowed every single user on the FlashGas app to have their own referral code. So by using this referral code and redeeming it, sharing this with other users, gives them $10 to test the app. And then on the other hand, it gives them a 15% profit share lifetime for inviting that new user. So that strategy has been pretty good. Now that we just launched in Hawaii, there are some vendors printing QR codes and just putting them on their front store. Like if you want $10 credit on FlashGas and your gas delivered, scan this QR code. Even they're promoting in Hawaii the QR codes for joining as a driver and whatnot. Now, to answer your question, we are rapidly expanding, and as we're expanding on our organic growth online, people keep calling our customer service lines and also downloading the app and try to order. But some people find that there's no coverage on their area, and that's when they decide to call our toll-free lines. That's when we have a team that analyzes the deal and sells the deal. Even though we don't have coverage, we sell the deal, and then we make it so that we have coverage. And the perfect example for that is yesterday we launched in Pennsylvania. So we are up and running in Pennsylvania. And that's as a result of a prospect calling in, trying to call their gas company, and their marketing is really good that somehow they think we are their company. So we try to convert those customers and then allow them to benefit from, because as far as my concern, there are no companies out there offering a cashback program to any of their customers. And especially these days with the economy how it is, that's what we do to contribute with our users. We give them a 5% cashback on every single dollar they spend in the app. And they could just accumulate those credits and use them as stored credit, or they could just use them redeeming them automatically on their upcoming orders. So really cool features like those. We're also 80% done with this new feature. It's going to be a recurrent functionality where once we get the deal for whoever needs to refill their tanks, we're just going to add the toppings and say, hey, would you like us to come every 3 weeks? And just push the button, automatically does it for you, or set the cycles that they prefer based on, let's say they've ordered 2 times. We would just measure the time in between their orders, and then we would just set the cycle automatically for them. That's going to bring in a lot more revenue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good that that's gives you perspective on kind of how FlashGas is expanding through campaigns and how new regions are opened up. I always think that FlashGas started in South Florida, and so did we. When we ventured into the U.S., and it's a great place to start. But then again, it's also important for us to be able to offer quick delivery, not just traditional delivery, quick delivery in as many places as we can nationwide, because that's really not something you see often in the healthcare space. So it's, we're going to be pushing hard jointly to get this growing as fast as possible. There's one other thing that was important that I wanted to mention. We, as everyone knows, Alex has been leading the development team, but he's also the CEO of FlashGas. And so far, they've done a great job. But we are looking to hire a CTO role for Dock.com specifically. So if you guys have Any suggestions of people that would be interested for that role? We're currently interviewing for that. We already did a couple of interviews, really great ones actually, but we want to interview some more people. If you guys know of anyone that has knowledge in smart contracts, that has knowledge in AI, has knowledge in developing websites and apps and adding technologies and things like that, please pass on the information or send us an email. You can send it to info@doc.com, and help us find someone, whether we find them ourselves, but there's always someone. There's always great suggestions that have come from the community, so I think it's something worthwhile to ask. I'm looking at the questions here. I'm seeing that I think there was a question in regards to the art. They say, why not take a bank loan with the painting as collateral? That's a great question, and the answer to that is that's what I first explored doing. It's really more about timing. In order to get bank loans, you have to do a few things, and the important thing is the important thing to understand is that the objective of doing this is to put the money into Doc, first of all. And the second thing is we need to there's several requirements if you want to get a bank loan. There's an insurance requirement that's quite costly because the values have gone up so much. But mostly it's timing. And these things take their time. So usually you see bank loans being approved after about 60 days when it comes to art. That's too long for us. I don't want to wait 60 days. And, what we want to do is try to get this additional liquidity as soon as possible. And it's really about timing. And the other thing is, why not offer the community that kind of backing? Why not offer investors that can come in a chance to get shares at a discounted price and also have their investment, secured by collateral? I just think that would, I think it's just something worthwhile to offer people, because, we still need to have more shareholders anyways. We still have to increase our shareholder base, and it's just, it kills two birds with one stone, basically. So we can increase our shareholder base and also provide a much more attractive investment for people that they know that in the worst case scenario, they're not going to lose their money because there's collateral there that has market value. And I just thought that would be a beneficial thing. So, sometimes you would think that the best answer to these types of questions is, well, why don't you take a bank loan or do this financing or do that? You have to compare the traditional methods to doing something different and out of the box that potentially could be better. And I believe that if, it's important to show how much we're truly committed to it. I think that's going to be I just know that the more amount of awareness, marketing, PR that we have, the more I want to showcase, like, this is coming from the heart. We really want people to understand that we put everything into this to achieve the mission. And, I would never stop until it was achieved. And I would rather offer that benefit to people who have been supporting us than to just let a bank make more money. And that's the logic behind that. So I think it's, that was the reason behind that. And timing is also, like I said, a huge factor in it. So let me look at the other questions here. Oh yeah, and definitely watch Frida's movie if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend it. She had an amazing life. Let's see. I'm looking at. Thank you, Quentin, for your comment there. We are. How many shareholders does Doc.com have now? We're about halfway there. I think after we have the 1A approved, we're going to probably get to the 300 very, very quickly. That's the plan, because the investments are so small for that. But we're about halfway there. Or at least a quarter of the way there, but I don't see it that difficult, at least because we have networks of people that we can bring in that like what we've been doing for a long time. So, but it is something that we have to ensure that is fulfilled as soon as possible. So one of the requirements for the next filing is getting to 300. Yes, it definitely is. It's something we have to do. And that's why we're doing these efforts right now, because it's not only liquidity, we also have to comply with those requirements. And we already done all the hard things we already did. So, what better way to offer investors, whoever wants to invest a larger amount, have it asset backed. And for those who want to come in and say, hey, I'll invest a small amount, they can become part of our shareholder base as well. So we're taking both paths here. And, I just think it's better to do it that way. Let's see. Anyways, I think it's important that we're doing that we're taking this path, and that we have community support, that we increase our shareholder base, and also we can do a larger marketing PR effort. There's people will always have different opinions on the strategy, but I just, I spend my days basically focused on trying to do the best thing always, and improve and optimize our strategy and everything that we're doing. And one of those things is, I think, out of the box thinking, doing these kinds of things make the difference. And when you want to be great, I've heard this before, but when you want to be great, you can do what people tell you to do and take the traditional route. But when you want to be, amazing or the best, you have to innovate. And it's a lonely road that way. And I can tell you from experience, it's a lonely road to innovate, but ultimately it's much better. And we're innovating in our investment strategy. We're innovating on how we're growing the company. We're innovating even how we're taking the company public. Those are all innovations, and our services alone are an innovation. I think it's just, for example, the comments that we got back from the SEC recently. They wanted, one of the 4 questions that they had was in regards to the 15 minutes, free 15 minutes. And I think one of our legal counsel spoke to the person who's our agent that's checking up, and she was like, "Oh, this is very interesting, this model." So people see the goodwill in it, but it's also kind of shocking, especially in the US, for people. It's kind of funny, because outside of the US and in Mexico, you see these models in different variations, but you see them, but not in the US. So I think that's one of our fortes. And it also, for me, for example, when I get asked questions or criticized or praised, I think that it's, I don't want people to think we're just some traditional healthcare company. I don't want people to think that we're another Doctor on Demand or Teladoc or One Medical or something like that. I don't even, that's just very a traditional kind of, they're very traditional businesses. I don't see them as like truly innovative. And it's just a different perspective. I kind of stopped focusing on what others were doing and just said, okay, how do I see that the world truly needs this? And that's been the way of thinking since then. I was heavily influenced and inspired by the whole PayPal mafia, Elon Musk and Reid Hoffman and Max Levchin and Peter Thiel, all of them. And I had the privilege of being in the blitzscaling class at Stanford. But one of the main things that I always think is important to story is the why behind everything. The why is a huge factor in all of this. I've told the story about the invention of the cotton gin before to the community. I mean, it was very impactful. That was one of the classes that we had in the blitzscaling course at Stanford under Reid Hoffman, and it was amazing to see that other people, the philosophy behind creating these kinds of businesses, and it's an example that has been expressed by different people throughout the years. You know, you see a problem, a big problem for society. It could be a global problem, and you can figure out a way to combine the spirit of, you know, business innovation and entrepreneurship with the reach of technology and create something that could potentially solve that huge problem worldwide. In the case, you know, of the cotton gin, the inventor of the cotton gin was so kind of impacted and shocked when he went to see the way he went to the slave port and saw slaves' families being separated and sold off, and saw the despair and just like complete depression that these people were in, and that had such a big impact on him that he said, "Well, why do slaves exist?" And that was a fundamental question, because, you know, it was just the thing that people did. It was so common, you know. And he said, well, they're using slaves to cultivate or gather cotton and tobacco. And he said, well, you know, with the understanding the reach of the technology at the time, he said, well, why can't a machine do that process and eliminate the need for slavery and ultimately help all these people? And that's the same philosophy of why, the why behind Doc.com. You know, I said, okay, there's this constant need for people to receive basic healthcare services. There's, you know, we have science today, so the most responsible way to go about it is through the scientific method. So it's more than just talking to a therapist or something. There has to be a scientific method behind it, and that was very important. But we had to ensure that we had free basic healthcare, that there was access that could solve that problem for free, and monetize in other ways to supplement that, and make it scalable. And that's really important in the storytelling. It's really important that everyone understands that, you know, the why behind this and the potential impact. But it's really to solve that aspect, to solve this lack of access to healthcare that so many people have globally. And, you know, that's really where the impact happens. And it's not because we started a company just because, you know, we saw this market opportunity. It's never really been like that. Yes, you have to consider all those things as well, because, you know, in the end, it's a company, but it's like a machine. You know, you have to ensure that the machine has all its components, but the machine has a purpose, and that purpose is to solve that problem. And that's how it is. You know, that's how we built it. So, you know, we always have had a strong why, and it's something that we have to tell in the story. And I want to ensure that when people think of Doc.com and whatever marketing and PR comes out, it's not what you would traditionally see. It's the storytelling is different, and we have community support and the transparency with blockchain. It's just very different from what people are used to in so many ways. And that's why it's so exciting too, because, you know, there's people that are betting on us. There's funds, institutional funds, that say, hey, this is something that can really have a big impact on the world. And it's amazing that we have support to do this. And I feel very grateful that we can go ahead and take this and make this to a very, very large scale. So, you know, I stopped caring what a lot of people thought. I mean, I always have my ears open, and I listen to things, but from the most basic things, I thought, well, who cares what others are doing right now? As long as we can get everything working and the services working well, the benefit is so clear there. And that's what I want people to understand, that, you know, we can literally save people's lives on a weekly basis, or on a daily basis. Out of 100 people that call for different things, there may be one or two that truly are in that moment that their lives are completely changed or saved because they had access to our services. And that's beats anything else out there. There's nothing more beautiful than being able to do that. So, in the end, there always has to be a return, and we do have to have something that essentially has a huge, huge market value, because that gives us the strength to grow and to get our services to more and more people. And that's the mechanism, that's the machine that has to function. I believe that we could be a 20 or $100 billion company someday. That's the market opportunity. There's so much need for healthcare services, and pharmaceuticals and healthcare services and products is just something that everyone consumes at some point in their lives. So it's a different approach. We're kind of going more broad, but I think that's also where we can have the biggest impact, and it's and also have the biggest return for investors, but and shareholders. And I just think, wow, these are all the elements that make it so beautiful that we're doing this as a public company, so people really, really understand it. And we're leading up to the stretch. So as this has happened in the past, some of you may have known, there was a lot of people that benefited from MTC, and they were early in. And differences, obviously, we're managing things very differently now, and the whole strategy is very different. But there was a lot of people that benefited there because they were there early, and now we're doing it even better. We're going about this in a very transparent way as a public company. We're even just adding this collateral to the investment just to ensure that people have locked in that, taking different innovative approaches, which I would be more than happy to talk about publicly and use these aspects to compare ourselves to other companies out there and say, look, this is why we shine. So that's what we're doing. And okay, there's one more question here. Have any companies applied to the marketplace? We do have some companies. There's a company that has over 40 products based out of California. They have FDA approved over-the-counter medications and some prescription drugs as well. Innovative things like they have paracetamol combined with green tea in one product, things like that, innovative things. And there's also some medical devices companies, but we're looking for more and more people. So we haven't really done a campaign yet for that. And that's also the reason why I asked the community to kind of check it out and see what you guys thought. It should be easy enough for someone to, say, hey, I want to start a business, and I have an option of selling my products on the Doc.com marketplace. And maybe you're making these products, like I mentioned, therapeutic candles is something that could be done. If it's approved, there's a whole feedback loop. If people like the product and stuff like that, I mean, we still will approve it ourselves. We have to see it first, but we also want to incentivize people to say, hey, you can offer your services or your products through the Doc.com marketplace. You can be either an established business or you can be someone that's just starting, but this is an option for you. Let's see, will MTC be used as an alternate payment for the launch in the US? The MTC will be used for hashing for the time being through the LightChain Foundation. We can't launch anything that distributes MTC to users or to healthcare professionals, to users of any type, vendors or anything, until after we're listed and we disclose how we're actually going to execute that. So like I said, we are planning on doing that, but we also have to be very conscious of, if we want this to be successful and we want to the crypto economy aspect of Doc.com to proliferate worldwide, we have to do this under a compliance structure. And that means, first, ensure that the company is public, that we're doing this. And then second, after that, creating that rewards mechanism and putting it out there and disclosing it and then launching it. So it's very important that we take this path to do it the right way, especially with all the things that have happened recently, because we don't want anyone associating us with anything like any of the negative aspects of the blockchain space. We want to do this the right way because we are a healthcare technology company, and it's important that people understand that that's the goal. The goal is to achieve free basic healthcare and to use the virtues of blockchain technology for transparency. So no one can say, hey, the basic things have to work well. And the blockchain aspect is an important component because it adds value in the form of transparency and the form of rewards. A lot of innovative, very cool things. But it is ultimately going for the same goal of providing free basic healthcare, and that's what we have to ensure we do well. And if we want to really grow value faster, we definitely have to do it in a compliance structure. So the short answer to that is yes, down the road, but not for the launch. But yes, definitely down the road. But what we will be doing is doing the hashing so that there will be a utility there from the start with the hashing alone. Okay, well, I'm going to, I think there's no more questions. I'm going to ask everyone, please, if you have any questions in regards to the senior asset-backed convertible note, or if you have people that are interested or friends and family, please let them know. We're definitely pushing to do this as fast as possible and get it done, increase our shareholder base and just get these things done as fast as possible. I know several of you have already reached out by email and they've sent me private messages asking some questions. I really appreciate the support. We're going to push hard with this. I'm going to do that investment dinner. I'm going to talk about this investment proposal to all these bankers. I'm going to just keep on spreading the word out myself. And if you guys can help in that way as well, we need to get to our 300 shareholder account, and we also need to have additional liquidity so we can make this bigger. So it's something that would be of great help for us. And if you guys have any thoughts in mind for someone that has that could be a good CTO, please share your thoughts on that. Someone that could fill that role, someone that knows AI, knows blockchain, things like that. Because eventually we're going to need it. Alex has done an amazing job, but he has a lot of work with FlashGas already. So we will find we have to fill that role relatively soon. It won't affect our launch, but it's in the plans, and that's what we want to do. So everyone, as always, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'll be doing another AMA probably on Monday or Tuesday. Just want to follow up right now. Every single day we're doing things, and we're just want to involve the community as much as possible. We have this. We're on the last stretch, so right now we have to be very close, and it's important that we do this and try to maximize the potential as much as possible. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. As always, I feel very grateful for everyone that's being here. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend, and I wish everyone the best. Stay safe, and thank you. Thank you as always. Thank you.
Thank you.